Hello. We are back. It is Cecile, and I have Jen with me. This is episode 2. If we consider the first one, the intro, as one. And let me tell you, we have accomplished something, right, Jen?
Yeah.
The name. Okay, so originally we thought that we were going to name this podcast Things I Wish I Knew. But then I realized when we're talking like in general, like we do on the lives for the boutique, or just when we talk, it's not really the things we always know, so it didn't really make sense. So this is actually, okay, I think this makes 100% more sense. Ready? You guys ready? It's going to be Things in my head. Things in my head. And that's usually, if you know us from Brooks Boutique, and I, Cecile, am doing the first live that I haven't done in a while, and I'm chatting with everyone. You know that all the random topics are just things that are in my head. So that way it encompasses and I think makes more sense of what this podcast is going to be about, which is anything. Yeah. Right, Jen?
Yeah. Anything, everything.
Anything. So she is so good. Let me tell you guys, if you've never... Okay, so she has this title, which is the coolest title Jen does. It's called producer. And it's a true thing. And when I say that they do all the work, I come in here and it's a fun thing, but now I get it. Like, I can be like, this is what I want to talk about, and maybe this is a good for a name and whatever, and I can come up here and talk and yap forever, but it's a lot of work behind the scenes. And so that's what we've been kind of learning, which is the process of anything new, right? So thank God for Jen for having at least the basic knowledge of anything electronic, because I do not. I don't know what cord goes to what. So she's joining me on this one because honestly, if I could just sit and record all the conversations that me and the girls have, it is so interesting. So that's why I was like, you just got to come on. Some stories we can't share because we might hurt some people's feelings, not customers, but just personally, that are so good. So we'll talk about things that we can talk about that I'm sure you guys will relate with. So going back, we created the name and it wasn't taken. It wasn't taken on Instagram. It wasn't taken as a podcast or an email. So it's Things in My Head Podcast is the Instagram, because we'll be uploading like clips in there. And then on podcast, Things in My Head Podcast, right, Jen?
Yep.
Okay.
Podcast.
Awesome. So also, we thought we would, eventually this will upload, like our podcast will upload on YouTube, but we haven't figured out like where's the best place to record for lighting. Even you'd think we would know this because of the boutique, but I bought this rinky-dink new ring light. That is why, if you saw the intro one, it's so small. It's like, I think for like, I don't even know, like not a real ring light like we do at the boutique.
It's definitely not big enough.
It's so tiny, and it gives no light. I'm returning it. Give me my $12 back. Okay, it wasn't $12. Okay. So this is also, I think it's easy to share now that we know a little bit more. I think our what is it called? Our agenda, not the agenda, our program. Script is how we thought we would do this. Is the first part is going to be where I normally talk about like what's been happening, my random stuff that we all chit chat about in the beginning of our Facebook lives. So it kind of like recap of the week, anything that's been happening in my life that we share in life or at the boutique, or just funny things. And then we'll have a topic, a main topic, or someone that I'm talking with about something else. So kind of 2 sections. So for instance, today, after we kind of set the stage, we're going to talk about how we even got here, for kind of a recap for all of our audience and friends from the boutique, how we got to this place in the last few years or in general. And then I think it could also be, at some point I want to do where I bring, like obviously Lauren in, Brooke in, Tori in, Soraya, different people in to talk about the boutique and their life and the things that we always talk about in general, because you know so much about us if you know about the boutique. If you happen to find this and you're like, what boutique are you talking about? We're talking about Brooks Boutique. It is a ladies' consignment boutique in Pearland, but we service all of U.S., and so that kind of actually is a great segue into what we kind of wanted to really talk about today, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jen, how long have you worked with us?
I actually don't know.
20, I know it's 2015.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
You didn't know?
I put a different date.
You blocked it out. You put a different date.
You know how when you have to fill out like an application for like apartments or just
Yeah.
like life, they're like, so how long have you been working there? And I'm like,
What do you
I
put?
don't. I put a random date every single time.
Every time?
Was it November?
Oh my god. But do you get the year at least?
No.
No.
I put like 2017, 2018,
Oh my god.
2016.
My feelings are hurt. I remember the day like it was yesterday.
Was it November at least?
I want to say it was November.
I always put November.
But it's definitely 2015. So now you know. Can you imagine that, guys? Like 2015 in retail, that is like a lifetime.
Yeah.
The longest working a member of our team that besides me. Besides any daughter, besides anybody, and I love her. And I joked right before this. I said that is great. I said also you're the one that I worked with the longest and also still know nothing about. Jen is so private. Like everyone else spills their guts, things we don't want to know. Jen doesn't let out a peep.
I feel like I've been saving it for this podcast. Now I'm going to just spill everything about myself.
Oh my god, that I would listen just for that. So I love it. So okay, so we'll do a very quick historical view, just to get everyone on the same page, because I'm not sure at what point, if you're listening to this because you know us through the boutique, you came in at. So, and one, thank you guys so much. I am astonished as someone who is older than these girls of how true relationships we have built individually, not just even like really, like I know you guys, even though I haven't met you, through the lives, through following each other on social media, through interacting. I mean, it is amazing what's done in this world of where you can be so close to people that you've never met. So we the boutique started in crazy to me, 2011. I will know the actual date. October 4th, 2011 was opening day in Pearland. Did you know at some point there was, at one point for 5 years, there was a second boutique, but I'll get to that. So we're still in the main place that we were when we originally opened in 2011. If I could bring it back to what was happening in the world in 2011, Jen was in junior high. Probably.
I was a high schooler.
What year did you graduate?
2013.
Okay, 2013. Okay, so you were in high school. Okay, so you were a sophomore.
Yep.
Wow, you're younger
And
than
you guys
Marcus
were...
now. Okay, so the Lauren was in high. Well, you and Lauren are the same age, so she was a sophomore too, probably. Yeah, that makes sense. And then Brooke was just like in first grade, and Mark was not even in school yet. So that's crazy to me. So that was 2011, and I'll skip a lot of it. I didn't make money for 7 years. I don't know what possessed me to keep going, except I didn't want to go back to corporate America. But okay, so we opened in 2011. In 2013, I had this great wrong idea to open a second location in a town called Missouri City that's about 25 minutes away from our first location. And that's where we met Jen and where she started working. And we just did we did a 5-year lease, but when it ended in 2018, it never really took off there. I thought it was a good space, but it's not. I can go into anything small business related later if you have questions, because I know it all. I've made mistakes, I've recovered, I've made more mistakes, so that's a whole gazillion topics on its own, which I do love talking about, to help anybody actually. But so we opened Missouri City in 2013, and we ran both of them in the days where I only had to put one person there in each boutique at a time, and they ran the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because nothing was happening.
I was gonna say I worked every day.
There was not much to do. I don't know how we survived. And Missouri City, in all honesty, never did make any money. And we had to so I had to renew. So my 5-year in Pearland, the first location, was up in 2011 plus 5, 2016. But by then I was still in the Missouri City lease, and Missouri City was not making money. So I had to keep Pearland open to support paying for Missouri City. My God. So therefore, if you do the math here, I was not taking a paycheck. And so, and God bless, thank God. People are like, what? How? Well, thank God my husband was supporting us. So thank God he never like balked at any of my crazy ass ideas. So we did not renew the lease in Missouri City in 2018, and we solely focused on Pearland. But at the same time, not to say that it was new then, but it came into its own, which is a 2018 social media. I know what y'all are thinking, late to the game. You're like, it's been there a long time ago, but we didn't use it the way.
We used it. It just never, like, we would do lives by ourselves. I remember doing lives in Missouri City.
Oh, we did. You would have to just, like, be like, I'll be right with you if someone happened to come in.
Yeah, we definitely put the groundwork. I think if we didn't do all the groundwork, we would not have popped off in COVID.
That's true. Because I remember when you do Facebook memories, that even for the boutique, I'll be like, what the heck? It was like, but we did them. Yeah. We did them sparingly. Like, we do it once a week, maybe. Yeah. And I would just, like, recap things. I would have y'all do, something in the Missouri City.
It was the newer, like, when we actually did new merchandise. Oh, yes. That was, like, pretty much the main focus.
That's right. When I thought... I had so many... we had done so many versions of this business, honestly. Yeah. So we, at some point, besides consignment, we're a consignment resale boutique of nice things. Yeah. I was like, I had a grand idea of like, let's just go and buy wholesale and do new clothes, thinking, because, you just watch everyone and they're selling other boutiques. So I was like, we can do it. Oh, forgot that you have to buy that stuff. Yeah. You're buying it outright, and it was not moving, and I was like, what a nightmare. So
that was so stressful for me because you literally gave me a credit card and the account information, and you would be like, okay, pick 5 things that you think are going to sell. And as somebody who was like, what was I, like 20 years old, I would look at these high numbers of spending money that I'm putting on a card. I've never spent that much money in my lifetime. I was freaked. I was like, if I can't sell all these jeans, we're going to be screwed. And I already work at a store that barely breaks even. So
I'm surprised you didn't find another job many times.
Oh my gosh. At nighttime, I would just be like on there, just like looking through like Jodaful intro. I would be like looking at everything. I was like, oh, and then what we would do is I would be like, okay, I'm going to post like 10 things, pick 5 on like Facebook, and people would like vote, and then we would do pre-order.
Yeah, then they vote and not buy it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I'm only laughing because at the time I didn't realize it caused you such stress. So you're a good sport. So we quit doing that. Anyway, so then we closed 2018 in that one location and focused solely on the current one that we're in now. And we just would randomly do it. And then, but I think it all happened for a reason. You're right, because 2020 hit. This is when it completely changed. The whole business changed. 2020 COVID hit. We didn't have any idea. And everyone was shutting down around us. And I remember we're in Brazoria County, which is a smaller county outside of the big Houston, Harris County. And Harris County always, they shut down a full 10 days, the city did, before Brazoria County made us. But I was just waiting. In those days, I was just waiting for our county to say shut down. And the whole world was kind of freaking out. And so... Anyway, so what happened was I got on a live and I knew that we got the word, and I think March 26, 2020 is when had to be closed. So I got on there randomly, and I was trying to keep everybody calm, like at the boutique and my life. And I went on live and I said, okay, we are going to close, but at that point, I believe we had some followers that were not local to us, but not much. And I would say, maybe I was thinking more of the Houston people, but I was like, listen, I'm going to go live every day just to keep everyone entertained or give you something to do, and we'll just figure it out. And I really had no idea. So that's where it started. And I was worried for my staff. I was worried for you guys because no one could work, and I know y'all needed to work. And I honestly don't know if we were allowed to do this, but I did it anyway. I said, we won't be open to, which I think ended up we could, but we didn't know then. Like, I was like, we're not going to open up, obviously, to the public, but we're just going to come in, and we shut the hours down to like 4 hours every day. Everyone come in at the same time. We'll come in from 1 to 4 or 11 to 1, whatever it was, and we're just going to do one live. And whatever we have in the store, because we didn't know at that point how long we were going to be shut down, right? We're just going to get on a live and talk, and maybe they want stuff. And so because I think everyone was in there on their phone and at home, like, it blew up. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like,
It was
so many
just
people.
right time, right place, and the right amount of people like watching.
Yeah, and around the right amount of ridiculousness from us.
Yeah, you dressed up in a different costume every.
That's right.
Every.
I forgot. Okay, so in order to make this like not mundane and this crazy, I need to go back. That was actually a lot of fun. We would do themes.
Yeah.
So I would wear like the craziest, silliest things. Like first it would just be like, let me see what I can wear. Like I wore, I think, my old prom dress.
Yeah.
I wore like a fascinator. I wore a tutu. We made a theme. We made a Disney theme. And so it became kind of like, what can we do just to entertain everyone? Because it wasn't really about selling. It was just keeping everybody entertained. And honestly, it was to keep you girls working at least a little bit at that time.
Yeah.
And then it just, I think, as again, the algorithms worked for us and it was more lenient. And we would get, sometimes we would get like over 1,000 people. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. 1,000 people on the lives commenting, and we're like, what?
We're just very humble.
I mean, now it's gone back down.
Yeah.
That helped us. So it blew up the boutique in the sense of who our reach was for, and which is where we meet a lot of you guys. And because you guys were just home, and it was so much fun. We got to know a lot of people individually. We had a pivot because we were like, what? How do we do this? These people are buying, but we didn't even have a website to sell from. We were just doing it on lives. We didn't have a shipping department. We're like, who's gonna mail this?
No.
Who's gonna package this up? It was literally me and you, I think, in the back, like putting the Scotch tape on.
It was Lauren, me, you, and we had another coworker with us as well.
That was there.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So we basically would just come in at the same time, put in consignment, and then show that consignment. We like blocked it off.
Yeah.
I remember
it was like
being
a few
like
hours.
scheduled.
We would figure, and we had to learn things. We had to learn how to ship. We didn't even have like a business UPS account. I mean, I'm telling you, we are a small business, so it made us shift, and it was great. So that was the fun of it. And then for us, I know it was so different around the country. We were only shut down for 5 weeks. So we opened back up. I remember these dates. May 4th or 5th. I remember close enough. It was when we reopened. So we were just shut down about 5 or 6 weeks. And then it was still kind of crazy. But because a lot of the world were not open yet, we still that 2020 was madness. It like doubled our sales, in all honesty. And we changed our business, and then 21 was great. 22 was the best year.
Yeah.
2023 last year, it was still good, but you can see the economy start to shift. And 2024 has been challenging, which I think is for everyone, not just us. It's everyone in general, because everyone personally thinks, interest rates, all that stuff. So that's historically where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's us
too,
today.
right? But you were telling a great story about that, like without bringing everyone down, but COVID for you guys as young people, because you were already living on your own.
Yeah.
That was my worry, because I have girls ladies, who these are their living wages. Like they have to work to live. This is not a high school job, and are not married, so they're relying on themselves. So if I don't take a paycheck, at least Andy can provide for us for the most part, and I'll just eat ramen. But you know what I mean? So in 2020, when this happened, you were just telling me that you were worried, right? Like what was going on?
I literally decided to finally move out, and
Oh
then
my
COVID
God.
hit.
Oh my God.
So it was kind of like worst timing.
Yeah.
Probably a really bad idea. I was really second guessing why I moved out when that happened. I was like, wow. Not good.
Well, how earlier did you move? Like, it was in March when we shut down, and I think you started worried. So
I moved into that apartment in August.
Oh, so
and then
a little time, but
yeah. So I was living there, and everything was good. Like I could manage everything. I was like, as long as I keep getting and work what I'm working, I will make ends meet. I had 2 other roommates.
Yeah.
So living was really cheap.
Yeah.
And I had my car paid off already, so I was like, yeah, this is good time. And I met 2 people that wanted to move out. And I just kind of signed on with them last second.
And then COVID hits.
And then COVID hits.
They were in the service industry. They were waitress servers, right?
Yeah, barista and servers. So they were freaking out because they basically couldn't go to work.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that's going to be me too, because I work a retail job that requires people to walk in the store back then.
You had a lot of foot traffic type of sales.
Yeah. The business model before COVID was most of our sales realistically would come from people who came into the store and physically shopped. So when I was thinking, now nobody's going to be inside the store, what am I going to do? Or people are just, even if Texas is very lenient, which I'm grateful for. So even if you're allowed to, how many people are going to risk?
Oh, a lot of people didn't come still. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, people were not coming out for a good year.
Yeah.
If not more.
It
like
was
traffic died down. Like foot traffic died down.
Yeah.
Thank God for social media.
Yeah, because if not, that would have been really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then when we started doing really well and we started making a lot from the lives and I was able to work, and I've never hit so many bonuses in a row kind of thing.
2021 and 22 were really good years for us.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I've never been so financially stable.
Yeah.
And then my friends were barely, my roommates in particular, were barely getting their footing back on.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I
miss those
so
days.
lucky.
We were very fortunate. So we give when the boutique does well, I share it. And so those were great. And we never really could do that. And so I was so happy to do that for you guys. And again, these are women in their mid-20s at this point who were coming up, and I was so grateful that these were their jobs. They weren't just going to use it as stepping stones. And that would have been okay if they do, and we know who are. But for the handful of ladies that I was like, I want to make sure. That's what small business, I think, is about, is that kind of stuff. So anyway, that was it's just crazy that when you say 4 years ago, that was 4 years ago. But because it kind of also seems like yesterday, but that could be the trauma. That could be PTSD.
I was like, I'm just happy it's over.
I'm so happy it's over. And we're going to be okay. I know we're a little stressed now because, like we said, everyone is kind of struggling in 24, but we're still doing okay. Hope to be here forever. But going back to the story of that's how we know everybody, let me tell you how much we know. We try to. I guess Lauren, you know who's really good? I know the people I know, right? But who knows every single person that walks in that door and a lot of the messages and all the stuff? Lauren. She is so good. If you don't know, Lauren is the manager. She's our oldest daughter, and she really is my boss. Like I said the last time, Lauren is the boss at the boutique. Jen is the boss of this podcast. But I think that's why I think we have such a great core supportive group, because it's not even just about the selling. We might show you a few things on the lives, but more people watch it than get things because of the
community.
The community we have with each other too. And I'll say that because I follow a lot, personally. I feel like I know people. I follow them on Facebook. They follow me. We see real lives. We're sharing things. Instagram, see, I use both. Instagram I use daily on the stories to show what I'm doing all day. So I really do feel like people can see my day. And then Facebook, you'll see the big events that I post about, whatever, Mark's Mark's baseball stuff or whatever's happening. So it's really fun to connect with people on a personal level that I don't think you don't get at a big box store like, Target or Forever 21 or whatever. It's the connections of people. So that's been the best part, except for the few people, which is actually kind of why we started this podcast. We had 2 today, and you're sitting to the 2 latest victims.
Oh, God.
We're not victims, but the 2 latest people who have gotten comments from our boutique Facebook lives that someone said, and that's fine, they can have their opinion, that each individually 2 different people told me and Jen separately, you talk too much.
I was going to say, I probably talk the least.
I was shocked when I saw the comment on yours and I opened it and I was like, Jen never even talks. What's she talking about? What were you talking about?
I mean, when you do a live video, you have to kind of mill around for the first 5 minutes because you're waiting for everybody to jump on. It's more of a courteous thing. You get the text message or a notification on Facebook and, you're coming on. So first 5 minutes, you at least talk about the weather, something going on with your life.
I'll talk for the first 15. So 5 minutes is easy. Short.
I was going to say, so I really don't it's like that's the hardest part of the live for me is to talk at first because it's not talking about a product. Yeah. It's just me talking about something that's going on in my life.
Oh my God, I have to start listening to your talks actually. And I'm gonna comment and be like, Jen, what'd you do last night?
Oh my gosh.
Did you go on a date?
I was asleep.
Like lies.
I was in bed.
You guys have to start asking her real questions on those lives. But yes, okay. But isn't that funny that you and I got this? It was just this week, honestly. It doesn't bother me. Sometimes I don't see it in the moment, and so I'll see it when it pops up on a comment in notifications, and I'm like, what? That's okay.
I mean, a lot of those comments, actually the one that happened to me happened after the video had already ended, so you could just fast forward if you wanted to.
Oh, true.
But, you know, I understand that, you know, you want to give feedback, so I totally get it. Yeah, so...
Did you cry?
No. No tears. We get a lot of, like, I also think it's good that when you start getting feedback comments like that, like, oh, you talk too much, or like sometimes negativity does mean that you're getting picked up by the algorithm a little bit more. And I have noticed we have a bigger, like, we are getting a little bit of a pop algorithmically. So I feel like...
So you want people to tell you talk a lot?
It's a good sign sometimes. So I try and take it as like a silver lining. Sure. Somebody that usually doesn't watch us maybe is, because I didn't recognize the two.
True, that is a good point. The two people that did say it this week, I did not recognize the names, which I was like, I didn't comment back, because really, then she's not wrong. We do talk a lot, so I couldn't argue the fact. And two is, everyone has an opinion, and thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have had, which I love, our, what do we call us? The
Brook Squad?
Yeah, because sometimes when it's happened and it's live, our ladies who are watching, who love us, then defend for us.
Yeah.
And are like, you can get off, or don't be rude, whatever. Like, they go to bat for us. So that is super sweet, because we are just people too. Like, it doesn't bother me. I know it doesn't bother you. I just hate it when they do it to, like, the younger girls who's been on. Like, Brooke, I think, you know, she doesn't like to see that. I don't know if it hurts. I don't think it hurts Lauren's feelings anymore. It probably bothered her in the beginning.
Yeah.
But you just have to have thick skin when you're, like, in any sort of forum like this, because not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like waiting tables has thickened my skin to the maximum.
Yeah.
You hear just, like, about every horror story when you wait tables. Like, it is, like, hats off, like, to people who serve tables. It is insane. So you hear, like, crazy stuff. People were like not running out tabs. People have called me dumb and an idiot to my face. They threw a lemon at me once. I was kind of crazy.
Should we share? Okay, we'll share one story. And when I start, you're gonna remember the story. I think you were there. At the craziest customer story at the boutique, which was a person inside. We didn't know her. Maybe we knew her. I don't know. But it's a person who physically came in the store. Mm-hmm. It was pre-COVID. And I think it was raining.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And we have cameras, of course. And so the girls went back and recorded it and sent it to me. I was like floored. But it was raining, so there was kind of wet outside, and a consignor came in with clothes like normal. And I think because we try to take the best things for our customers and our ladies, we didn't take some of her stuff, and she didn't like that. And so this is a grown woman, and a lot of the girls are younger, right? They're like in their early to mid 20s, and the woman stomped. She had like rain boots on and wanted to purposely, she was putting stuff in her car, came back in a couple times, and she would come in with her wet rain boot. She came in with her wet rain boot and stopped to get water everywhere. And then on her way out, she pushed the mannequin. Remember that? And pushed the mannequin on her way out the door, and the mannequin fell. I was like, I'm going to pray for her, because we've all had those moments. But I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was with me, actually.
Oh, it was you.
That was with me. She brought in, like, let's say she brought in, like, 25 items. And I was like, hey, yeah, I'm going to look through it. I'm going to look through it. Everything's all good. And I took maybe, like, let's say there was 25. I took maybe 15 of her items.
Okay.
So it was a good, I thought, fair amount of items. Some of it was out of season, and some of it was, like, maybe pants or something that I just couldn't take in because of our protocol.
Yeah, we know what we'll sell.
So it's like, hey, you know, I just couldn't take this in. I can take this. Let's go ahead and sign, you know, our paperwork, do all of our stuff. She was really upset because she really thought that we were going to take all of her items in, and then she started stomping on the floor. She was like, I hope somebody trips.
She said that?
Yeah, she did.
I think y'all did. I remember y'all telling me that now. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then she said, it was a little bit racist, I'm not going to lie. She did, because me and Val were at the desk. She was like, said something to the effect about us being immigrants, which I was born here.
Hey, I'm an immigrant. I was not born here. You should say, well, you don't know, this place is like, that's crazy.
Like, what? And then I don't know if I can. Yes, Cammie was there as well, and she was like, "We don't want you to come." She's like, "I'm never coming back," and Cammie was like, "We don't want you to."
Which we try not to respond, but at that point, I think y'all were just like in awe that this, y'all were all young, and that she came in so hateful for not taking clothes. Now, I'll tell you,
I asked her to, I was like, I can take some of your clothes back to your car with you. Like, I was trying to be helpful, but when she was like, she yanked it out of my hands, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the...
And then she pushed the mannequin on the way out. Yeah. But this is what we realized, because we've all had those moments. And I think this is what maybe I've told y'all better, I usually do, is that was not about you. Like, something was going on in her life that was out of character. Because I remember very succinctly a long time ago. I mean, I don't even know what was happening in my life, but I went off on the lady at Kohl's. It was so stupid. Like, I can never show my face there again. And so I don't even know what that trigger was, but obviously it was not that woman. It was not me. Not that it was okay, because that was not okay that I did that either. So her doing that, there was something else, because it cannot just be we didn't take some of her clothes.
Yeah.
So, but that we could just.
It was pretty funny when she threw the mannequin.
It was. They were laughing. So just so you know, the staff was fine, and they kind of thought it was funny because it is funny. Like, not at her, but it was funny that
she threw the mannequin.
Yeah, she like
the way it just like looked dead on the ground.
If you saw it on camera later, it started.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
I know.
I felt bad because I knew that, because I've been in like customer service type jobs for like ever.
Yeah.
I know that nothing is personal.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, let's just let her leave. She wants to do this on her own. I'm just trying to de-escalate the situation.
Which you're always good at.
And I was like going towards the desk because I was trying to make sure that I was scared she was going to say something really.
And I didn't account. Very vocal, yes.
I didn't account for Cammie on the other side of the boutique. I was like, gosh darn it, Cammie, you don't say anything.
We all defend each other as well. We all love each other.
She was just one of the best people that I've ever worked with. Yeah. And it was like, she was on her way out. I completely understood it. I was like, you know what?
It's okay.
But
that's like some of the crazy stories. We should do we'll do an episode at some point of all the craziest staff that's worked with us, mainly in the beginning. And then all the different funny, either customers, not funny in a bad way, or the things we've gotten in, the things we found in things, like the behind the scenes stuff that's pretty hilarious at the boutique. So anyway, we're probably going to wrap it up, but that is our story. That is our boutique story, a little of the staff story. So what we think, if you stick with listening, because at some point we're going to have most of the staff in one-on-one talking about different things, and not just boutique related, but as we know, I always say that these girls cannot get rid of me. So speaking of Val, who used to work with us, I think it's been over a year and a half, 2 years since she's been gone, but I just had lunch with her last week, so you can't get rid of me. And because I love sharing what's in my head, the story, and this is the point of this podcast. These are the things in my head. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. Stick with us because it will only get better, because we are only learning how to do this, and just to have fun and bring the conversation here instead of the beginning of the live, so less people will get annoyed that we talk too much. Can you imagine if we had this conversation over there?
Could you imagine if we got you talk too much on the podcast?
Oh my God! They should just not listen to a podcast. Yeah, 2 hours later podcast. All right, guys, stick with us. We will post again, and we love you so much. We will post all of our handles and websites and all that info if you want to follow us, because that's how we get to know each other. We appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
We'll see you later. Bye.